Mr. Subesh Ramjattan, by the authority vested in me by the Senate and Council of the University of the West Indies, I have pleasure in conferring on you the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa of the University of the West Indies. My sincere congratulations. I will now invite Dr. Ramjattan to address the company.
Professor the Honorable Sir George Allen, Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Professor E. Nigel Harris, Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Professor Clement Sankat, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine Campus, Professor Archibald MacDonald, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies, Mona, Professor Yvette Jackson, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Graduate Studies, Professor Rhoda Reddock, Deputy Principal of the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine Campus, other distinguished members of the Platform Party, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the campus management, deans and members of staff of the University St. Augustine Campus, presidents of the Guilds of Studies and the Alumni Association, graduating students of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, members of the media, other distinguished guests. Many professionals have become accustomed to the moral darkness and often do not see the specific needs of the community around them. Yet, the dire need to enforce solid morality and ethics, charity and generosity in support of the needy compels us to take back the moral high ground clearly established by those in this nation. Since you are launching a career in the field of medicine, I challenge you to both review and honor the oldest binding document in your historic field of study, the Hippocratic Oath. It is a system of moral principles that applies values and judgments to the practice of medicine, a most honorable profession. Those with expertise and resources must join the effort to make moral citizens of the children and solicit the assistance of the business community and non-profit entities to join the government to meet the needs of all citizens. We must utilize the expertise and energy of all professions in assisting the present and next generation. It is immoral to avoid this responsibility. It is less than humane to fail in our responsibility to the generation that brought us into this world, invested in our growing years, gave us a moral compass, provided the encouragement for an adequate education, and gave us a boost to grow into productive citizens. To withhold care or resources from children, the poor and needy seniors is a gross injustice and a moral blight on any society. We must take back the moral high ground. My personal concern for the less fortunate came from the frequent statements by my mother, a shopkeeper in the rural village of Plummeton, and she would often say things like, "Never look down at someone unless you are willing to help them to get up." This instilled in me a passionate commitment to assist the less fortunate, especially neglected children, dysfunctional families, those with limited access to higher education, and the elderly in need of housing and care. I see this as a moral obligation. All professionals should remember that opportunity equals obligation. Perhaps the historic professions of religion, law, and medicine have the most opportunities to meet this moral obligation. One must never pass up the opportunity to assist others on their journey. My life experiences have taught me that I should never burn bridges, since I will never know which one I will need to cross someday. We must all develop a sense of duty and responsibility to take back the moral high ground, so nobly established by the early leaders of this nation. We owe a debt for our own upbringing, not just a sense of indebtedness, but a grateful heart for family, the opportunity for education, good friends, and a stable government. We must all become aware of the opportunities around us to make a difference. And remember, you don't have to make news headlines to make a difference in the lives of others. The theme of my book, God's Work Done God's Way. Keep On Keeping On is a song on the album Roots, written by Curtis Mayfield and released in 1971. He was a songwriter in the early civil rights movement who focused his lyrics on social problems and personal responsibility. A typical verse in his lyric goes like this. I wouldn't sing it, but I'll say it to you. We who are young should now take a stand. Don't run from the burdens of women and men. Continue to give, continue to live for what you know is right. Curtis Mayfield was telling his generation to take a stand for what was right. He was warning them not to run from the burdens of responsibilities or the clear tasks at hand. His challenge was to continue to give and continue to live for what they knew was right. In other words, Curtis's music was an ethical and moral challenge to the current generation to keep moving forward with the push for equality and to make a difference by what was doing lawful and right. As medical graduates and our nation's future health experts, your mandate is one of healing and care. An important part of healing is developing compassion, espoused by Frederick Buechner, who said, to find your mission in life is to discover the intersection between your heart's deep gladness and the world's deep hunger. I ask you, what is your heart's desire? What will fulfill that desire? And will that desire also feed this world? Each of you have reached this far, are on the precipice of a new journey. And each journey begins with a first step. In reality, it is the little things that count in life. When the first man landed on the moon, he said, "One step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." It took decades of planning and labor, with many people working long hours to put that machine and that man on the moon. They paid the price, and they made a significant contribution to mankind. That is where we stand in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago today. Will you join the men and women of goodwill and take the necessary steps so that we can move this nation forward? Will you encourage the government to do their part? Will you make a cooperative and concerted effort to take back the moral high ground and move our people and our nation forward into the light of reality? Dare we do less? There is a story of an old man in a small town who was called a lamplighter. Early each night, he would go to each street corner and light the gas lamps. The old gas lamps made only a small light on the dark street. As the light lamper went from street to street, it appears that he was knocking holes in the darkness. This is an example of what one person can do. A good example of what one in the medical profession can do as they strive daily to knock holes in the darkness and enlighten those they serve. Notice each step forward and take advantage of each small success. The big questions are simple. What can you do differently? What can you do better? What can you do new? Or perhaps a better question would be, what will you do to make a difference in the lives of those you serve and ensure the health and prosperity of this nation? One of my favorite quotes is from the wisdom of Mahatma Gandhi, who said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." He also said that man becomes great in the degree in which he works for the welfare of his fellow man. My encouragement to you is that you were born to win. But to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. My life's learnings have taught me that in life, we have three choices: give up, give in, or give it all you have. Are you willing to give it all you have? You are about to experience the life you can't wait to live, one filled with passion, peak performance, and purpose. May I remind you that passion is a prerequisite for peak performance. The Jamaican Nancy story, and I was blessed to be a salesman in Jamaica. He says, if man can't dance, him say the music no good. You have to learn to dance to the beat. We must stop complaining and start living. Your walk talks and your talk talks, but your walk talks louder than your talk talks. John Dewey, an American educator and political activist, said, "Education is not a preparation for life. Education is life itself." My personal life's philosophy is, it's not what you gather, it's what you scatter that makes the difference. My faith taught me that my giving to God is not a debt I owe, but a seed I sow. May I encourage you to use your education, your profession, to serve, sow, and make a difference to life. Be reminded by Nelson Mandela when he said, "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead." My challenge and reflection to you and on your journey is, what will you want your legacy to be when you look back many years from now? I have learned that in my life, the difference between school and life is that school teaches you lessons and gives you a test. Life gives you a test and you learn the lessons. Remember, happiness is a byproduct of wise choices, not a goal to be pursued. Please make wise choices on your life's journey, and may Providence guide you personally and empower your professional journey. Thank you for allowing me to share with you.